Hey guys, it's Dani. I realized that I don't talk much about oracle cards on my channel, and we recently did an oracle card talk on 3 Fat Readers, and I thought, you know, it's not something that I really talk about much. It's not something really that I kind of go through my collection, so I thought, why not do an oracle deck collection video? Because I've been rearranging my room. So I'm kind of taking everything out, re-examining, and maybe rehoming some stuff. So I kind of wanted to do that with you guys. And I figured I would start with ones that I rarely use and kind of go through the reasons why I'll keep them, maybe why I won't, and just kind of give you a quick little flip through and just talk a bit of oracle because it's not something that I do often. So let's get to it. So let's start with ones that I am either going to rehome or maybe repurpose for something else. My first one I talked about on 3 Fat Readers, that is the Universal Healing Oracle cards. This had some religious cards in it that I wasn't a huge fan of. Oh look, right here, you can see it right away. This Universal Heart is Jesus. I wasn't really expecting that. Like abundance, inner child, golden path, balance. Like there are some of them that I feel like would be okay. Like this one I thought was just super strange. This is the relationship card, and it's just like an angel and a dolphin. And I was like, what? Like, you see, like, some of it just didn't make sense, and it was one of those that I did buy on a whim. Some of the cards are really pretty. Some of it I'm just like, oh. There was one that, like, there are a few that I'm like, I don't know what this is, this Trilogy of Light. Because at first I'm like, well, there's some religious connotations. Do they kind of mean something like the Holy Trinity? So it's stuff that I had to, like, look up once I flipped through it, and I was like, I don't know if I like that. When it comes to oracle cards, most of them, I won't say all because some of them have really great guidebooks, but for the most part, I like an oracle card or an oracle deck that I can like pick up and go, right? I don't want to have to read up. I don't want to have to question myself. I don't want something to come up that I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, I am an intuitive reader, so oftentimes I look at the image in front of me to read, but sometimes when you get these keywords, you're just like, I know what I see, but like, what do they mean? What is this? I don't really care for that all too much in my oracle deck, so I'm all for thought-provoking stuff. Just, I don't know. That's just a personal thing. Anyway, so that one I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I feel like I might go into maybe some art projects with some of these from the Universal Love, because I feel like I can put some of those in my grimoire and kind of create a spell around a page. Or I might just sell it. I haven't really decided on that one. But one that I am going to be rehoming for sure is this Past Life deck. Now this is by Doreen Virtue and Brian Wise. I do have like 3 Doreen Virtues. I have 3 of them. This one, another one that is for linen, and the Goddess Guidance. So this one I snagged, and first and foremost, when I do past lives, I've always read with Oracle or Tarot kind of interchangeably because I'm a seer when it comes to that. So I thought, erroneously, that when I was getting really into them and I was doing them a lot, I was doing a lot of readings for myself, trying to uncover a few things. I was like, I saw it pop up and I said, oh, I'm just going to get it. I'm going to try it. Maybe it'll be really good. But it ended up really not resonating. And the reason why I feel was because there are some, like, the arts, like, some of the concepts are a little too modern. Like, some of the pictures seem a little too modern. It's presented in a way that, I don't know, it's very much presented in a way that I'm not really fond of. Or they pick a time period and it's like a karmic relationship, and sometimes it's like I don't want to see a specific time period because I might not be working in that time period for this reading. Like, there's one that's like a farm, and it looks like a modern day farm. Like, it's like a brand new, let me see if I can find it. I think it's around here somewhere. I just saw it. Oh, right here. This is like a modern day born. I'm like, but this is a past life deck. I don't really feel like it should be a modern day barn on a past life deck. I don't know. Not to say that some past lives are not recent. However, even 20 years ago, that's still a very modern barn. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan. And the gilding on the sides made it stick, so you can see where I had to, I mean, some of them were stuck together, I had to pull apart. So I wasn't impressed with the imagery or the deck itself. For having barely used this, I mean, I can count on one hand how many times I've used this deck. And the wear and tear on the sides of it, I mean, you can see. It's kind of crazy. So I know this is out of print, but I just don't use it, and I don't feel like I ever will. So I think this is definitely going in my to be rehomed pile for sure. I'm already 11 minutes in. Might have to cut some of that other stuff out. I'll try to go faster. Okay, so my next deck is one that I keep for Lennon. She likes to play with my cards. And I don't really like her playing with my cards that are cleansed and in use and are working decks. So I found this. I was trying to do a bit of work with angels because of like, I had this like avoidance of angels. I don't like the term very much. I don't like some of the energy that kind of flows with the term angel. So it was like some of those shadow works. I think that has a lot to do with growing up Catholic and seeing certain images and like having certain feelings. And I do feel like it's like a past life thing as well. But anyway, I wanted to see if I can maybe connect with something or learn a little something, and it just didn't. Like, it very much solidified the fact that like angels are not my jam. I don't like the term. Some of the energies I resonate with. So I grabbed some really cheap decks. I think I got this one for under $10 or right at $10. So I figured if I didn't like it, Lennon would really like it because, I mean, they have some fairies. But this one, I find, y'all, some of it is just so silly. Like, some of it is silly. Not only the artwork is super childish in ways for me personally, but like, they'll have cards like this. Have you asked the angels for help with this? If you're working with a card with angels, isn't that what you're doing? And then, oh my goodness. So like, some of it is like super specific too. The parents. Okay, so this is one that I laugh every time I see it because it just looks like two people that they just added wings on. And it's like a very specific card about like, your parents actually love you. And I'm just like, I don't know. Some of the concepts are a bit off. Some of the art seems a bit forced, whereas other ones are very beautiful. And then we have to deal with this huge border. I don't know. It wasn't a thing for me, but Lennon likes to play with these and see all the fairies. So we kind of go with that. So I just keep this around as something for her to flip through. And another one that I don't mind that much is Angel Prayers. I have two by Kyle Gray. Although Angels and Ancestors is a beautiful deck. I had it as an app on my phone. This is Angel Prayers. It's not something that I really use. I think it's something that I keep, again, mostly for Lennon, because she really likes to flip through all the pictures and the pretty colors. She loves like the pinks and the purples, but it's not something that I use too much. Again, it was when I was just trying to maybe connect. It's not that it's a bad deck, it's just not really for me. So again, this is another one that I kind of keep around because it's got all kinds of different beings in this Angel Answers, which I thought was kind of interesting because we have fairies represented in nature. We have like the Divine Father. We have archangels, like love and accept yourself. I mean, it's got some of the inner voice. It's got more than just angels in here, but like some of it is just like, again, some of the images I find a little silly. So we have that. And then one that I do actually, I used to use quite often, but my reading style has changed and my interests have changed over the years, and I just don't really use it anymore. And that would be Keepers of the Light. So Keepers of the Light is very similar, but it's got like Freya. It has, let's see, Lord Shiva. We have the Green Man. We have Gaia, which looks just like Mother Mary. I don't know about that. But then I mean, there's a bunch of like random figures from all around. Then we actually have Mother Mary. We have White Eagle. It's kind of like, I feel like this is kind of like that precursor Lady Venus to the Angels and Ancestors, which I really do like. It's one that I have not bought, but I do really like. I just don't like, again, my taste and reading style have really changed. Here's Mercury. So it's got just some really interesting energies in this deck. So that's kind of why I keep it around, because if I'm working with Freya, or I think there's like Bridget in here, Krishna, Kali, I will use them as I use Isis quite a bit as an altar card when I'm working with some of those energies, so I do keep this around. But I don't know, I feel like because my style has changed, I really wouldn't utilize the Angels and Ancestors, even though it's really beautiful. So anyway, I'll do my other Doreen Virtue, because speaking of goddesses and such, I grabbed this one specifically because I knew it was going to go out of print, that she was taking it off, and I kind of like goddess decks, and she had quite a bit of really interesting choices, and some of the more obscure goddesses that I was really excited to see were represented in here. I'm trying to figure out what way I have them up. Okay. So I really did like the idea. This one actually didn't get all torn up. I was surprised because it did have the gilding. But at the same time, the colors are very much Easter eggy. They're all kinds of pastels. And the thing that kind of bothers me, but only because I have an issue with aesthetics sometimes, to my own detriment. If you lay them out, like, you can't, I mean, you can lay them out in different ways, but like, it doesn't, the art styles don't match, and it bothers me. I mean, the borders match, obviously it's all kind of the same idea, but it's not all the same type of artwork, and I don't know why that bothers me so much with this. So as a single thing, again, I like to have it because it was cheaper, and it did cover so many different goddesses that I really like to work with some of this energy. So if I work on like just one at a time, as an altar card or as like a placeholder for some work that I'm doing, it's not bad. But other times I don't know. I tried it. I'm a very wishy-washy when it comes to that one, but I do like to hold on to it. Because I don't know. Now there are two here that are very similar. Okay, we have the Psychic Tarot and the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. One of my friends had these decks, and she really loved them because they gave such great readings. And she was like, I think you're really going to like them. And I got them, and I just never really used them much. They really do give great readings because what I have used, they've done really well. But I just don't resonate, again, with some of the imagery. So, and this is another one that was very sticky. Now these, you can see, look at this. It kind of tore up. This didn't get too bad. You can see a bit. But again, these mass market hay house that have all the gilding often have a little bit of trouble. So these do have the chakras in it, and they don't have the court cards. They have, I believe they have 1 through 10 of each suit, but the suits are only notated by color. They don't have the suits, so they're kind of set up like the tarot. But instead of court cards, they have chakra cards, and they don't have, specific suits. They just have keywords. So it's like a tarot oracle is what it is. And it's not bad by any means. It's just not something I use often. But I'm going to tell you, this deck, look at this. I had to peel almost every card apart. And it did that to the front and the back. So I think that might be another reason why I don't use them so often. I just don't know if there's something that I want to keep. And then this one is so messed up. I don't even know if there's anything I can do with it, So I might just keep it in my collection. Maybe switch this one out for one of those angel ones and give one of those angel ones a new home since they're in better shape, and keep this one for fun time with my little one. So that was the Tarot of the Heart, and I'll show you the Psychic Tarot itself, which wasn't so bad. I mean, this one didn't really have that much damage, if any at all. I find that these don't hold up as well, and they are really, really big. But again, it's set up the same way. Like, you can see some Rider-Waite type ideas in this one a little more. And they mostly are. But in Oracle form instead. So I feel like if you're learning tarot and you want something that you can be like, okay, this is supposed to be this card, love begins. Okay, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, you can kind of do that. Oh, look, the Devil, you have the Temptation. So I think it'll really help in a way to kind of get some keywords. So like 9, Suffering in Silence, they have really good keywords if you are learning, like the High Priestess, Intuition. So it's black. So I feel like it does have that going for it, especially if you're kind of just starting out, you want those keywords, you want to get used of it. I think it's a really good way to do that. But I don't know if it's something that I'm going to keep in my collection. I don't know. So I'm going to put those over here with the might be leaving pile. So then I have one that I do actually like, but I don't use often. with Oracle, again, my style has changed so much that sometimes I don't make room for Oracle in my practice. Maybe I should. These have beautiful images. I do really like the keywords. Some of these are very powerful. I really love this one. The restore and replenish. Because it's that fetal position, you know? Some of these are really, really nice. I did trim these so they fit better in the hands. You can kind of see how I trim that down. Get some big borders on it. So this is not one that I use often, but I do really like. So I kind of keep that around. I really don't open guidebooks often, but if I'm not mistaken, no, this one doesn't. Oh, it does some, oh, this one has a healing process. I know a lot of people say that they really love Elena Fairchild's guidebooks, but I don't know, did I mention that? I feel like I might have mentioned that. I don't really use guidebooks often for Oracle. I just don't. So this is one that I definitely still really love, but I don't use often. So maybe I'll put that back into rotation. Now, I used to use this one quite often. This is Whispers of Ganesha. I used to use this quite often, but I haven't in so long because, again, my practice has really changed. And it's not something that I really resonate with anymore. And the images are beautiful. The keywords are fantastic. They're very, like, it's hard to even catch on camera how vivid these colors are. But I have ginormous hands, you guys. I have really, really big, long fingers. And I can barely get my hands across. So they're super huge, but you can't, I mean, you can trim. I mean, you can trim anything, really. But they're borderless on the inside. So they're not something that I would ever trim down. But because I really just don't use this anymore and, like, I don't feel a connection with it, I think Whispers of Ganesha, as beautiful as it is, I think I might allow this to leave my collection. I think I might. So another one that I really love the artwork was The Universe Has Your Back. I really love the watercolor vibes, the simplicity of it. Some of these are upside down, probably most of these. Sometimes I'm like, how did I shuffle these? Everything is all over the place. How did I do this? So with this one, I really like the artwork, like I said. However, I feel like almost every single card talks about, like, choosing love. I choose love. Love chooses me. Choosing love. Love is, choice is maybe I should love. I feel like there's a lot of love. And not that I'm opposed to love. I choose love. I just feel like it sound like it's, look, you see what I mean? I swear, I don't have, nothing is right. There is a stream of love. There is a presence of love. I am love. When I lean towards love. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it makes it sound repetitive. But if you're looking for beautiful artwork, and I mean, some of the quotes are really great. Some of them are really great. I'm not trying to, you know, whatever. There's nothing sexier than my authentic truth. But I just found like some of them just felt repetitive. Another presence of love. So it's beautiful. It's just not something that I use very often. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I am going to keep this. I feel like the artwork is what makes me hold on to it, if that makes sense. I feel like that's that's kind of like the best thing going for it. For me, you know what I mean? Because I don't utilize it, but I really like looking at it, you know? So next is a little deck that I modified and rebacked, which was fun. This is my very first rebacking. I wanted to try it. And I just did a plain little vinyl back, and that is, these are the, I think it's called, the Gypsy, it's like a Gypsy Oracle. And these have very much, to me, a Lenormand vibe, which is why I love them, and I love their like vintage look. They have very simple keywords. They work very good in like a tableau style. Or, I know I really love Lenormands when I'm like, okay, let me go shuffle them and go to, let's say, my house. I want to know stuff about my home life. So then I would come to the home and see what's around it. So we have cheerfulness, and in front of it we have merchant, which could describe my house because I work from here and there is a lot of cheer here. So kind of that idea when it comes to almost like that fortune tellery kind of feel to it, that Lenormand kind of specific question, specific answer. I love using these because again, when you have like reunion, you want to go meet with a friend. Should I meet with them? Well, you have merchant again, so there may be some money involved, and then they have wedding. Oh, maybe you'll see them at a wedding. You can bring them a gift. Do you see what I mean? I really like using these in that way. Like I said, they're fun and they're just really cool looking. So these are a deck that I keep in this fun little pouch and kind of keep around. These are super fun. Now this I got in a crystal book. It's literally just some, does that come out? Yes, it does. But I also use for like, what should I work with? Again, what do I do? Do I come in here and just throw them all on the floor and pick them up and put them in there as they land? So we have lapis, malachite, smoky quartz, garnet, but on the back, it has a boatload of info. So we have first house, second house, third house, fourth house, and I believe this is on kind of where it falls if you're doing a certain kind of reading, I think. I don't know. But it's like, it's important that you're impartial and fair to your dealings. Like it's got little readings on the back, like don't rush into sudden decisions without all the facts. So it kind of depends on where you're laying it out. But what I use it for personally is like I'll pull it, and then on the front it says, of course, the color, the qualities, which are like amethyst, clarifying, calming, integrating. So it has that with it, but I mostly use this to see what I should be working with. That's kind of how I use this. Like I said, they came in a little book that I got 5 years ago, maybe more. And I'll use them every once in a while. But I also have little jars of stones, and I kind of like sometimes let that guide me instead, but they're fun to have. They're fun to have around. Then we have one of my first oracles. Probably my second one, because my fairies is my first one. But the Wisdom of the Oracle is a Colette Baron Reed. I did trim this deck. It had surroundings, so I trimmed it down. I did a like teal colored, ooh, there you go, like a teal color, it almost matches my hair, border. But these, I thought, like some of them, like the Soulmate, the penguins, yeah. But for the most part, I really love these. These have a face. There's a face somewhere in every single one. But I thought they were whimsical. They were very how do I describe it? Almost like I always think about that Alice in Wonderland vibe, that Wonderland feel to it. Not all of them, but like it's wondrous, right? So there's like a sea turtle with a treasure on top that's like floating in the sea. There's like a little girl. There's music notes. Like it's very fantastical, I guess, is kind of where it is. It's very fantastical in some ways. They have little fairies and animals. The Fates is my favorite card. So I used to use this a little more often. Here's another one that just feels so whimsical. And it's very watery, and I'm kind of drawn to watery decks sometimes. So I think that was another reason. But it does. It kind of looks like fairy tale whimsy. So I always keep that around. I do enjoy pulling this one out for specific things. Next. So this deck I do enjoy. Again, the aesthetics are everything. I love the way that it looks. I love the way that it photographs. And I just really like Danielle Nicole's artwork. So this is Work Your Light Oracle. This is a Rebecca Campbell, but the art is by Danielle Noel, who did, I don't have anything right side up. The Moonchild Tarot. So this one is on that same style. And I really like using these, again, look at this, together. Because I have this weird thing, like if my oracle that I'm using does not go with my tarot deck aesthetically, then I'll either won't use it or like I'll put it on a totally different part. That's just my brain being weird. I don't know why I'm like this. And it's not with everything, but for whatever reason with this, like I just feel like it's something that you have to do. But anyway, there are a few in here, like Pallades, that I don't super resonate with, but at the same time, like, I don't know, you can't please everybody. For 98%, I really like the stuff at the bottom here, like Answer the Call. What is your soul calling to do? Now, I will say, artwork is great, this is great, but if you want to look something up in this book, okay. They categorize, I say they, I don't know, Rebecca maybe? Whoever put this book itself together. Whoever did the contents, like I get it, okay? There are action cards, inquiry cards, transmission cards. There's a bunch. Anyway, they put them all into these suits. However, the cards themselves do not mention, nor do they have any sort of like markings or colorings to show this at all. So I don't understand the point of creating suits for cards that don't have any specific suits. So they're not in order, they are not numbered, but for whatever reason they decided to put them in this thing, so you really have to hunt for it. You have to hunt for whatever you're looking for. So the ever unfolding rose, you know, you have to just hunt for that. What is that? Is that an inquiry? Is it an activation? Is it a, you know, like some of them, like Council of Light, birthing a new age, would that be action or activation? I would think just by seeing birthing a new age that would be under action. It is not. So that's what I'm saying. I don't really like the way that the book was done. What they say inside, great. I love it. There's even like a work your light activation that kind of like gives you something to do, like hold the card on your heart and say this, or you know, journal prompts, who or what is triggering you. The content is great, but the setup is awful. I'm just saying. Rant over. We're almost done. That wasn't too bad. This isn't too bad. I'm going to cut out a couple of things maybe to speed us along. So, here to the ones that I use as little markers, as little lanyap, a little add-on. That is the I Am Power deck. Literally, I am blank. I am time. I am pause. I am strong. I am, what does that say? Student. Could not read it backwards. I am thankful. I am vulnerable. These are just nice little cards. There's 108 of them, so you can also do them as like mantras. If you do mala beads, you can literally flip through with each bead. I am student. I am hope. I am release. And they're just fun little watercolors with I am whatever on them. I like to do these as, like I said, little lanyap cards. You know, I feel like maybe you need some sort of affirmation, so I'll go to this. Or, you know, I feel like I want kind of like a mantra of the day. I'll pull these. And these are kind of the same. These are huge. Now, sometimes I put these in gifts that I give. I like to randomly pick some Truth Bomb. These are the hashtag Truth Bomb, volume 1 and 2. This is Danielle Laporte. And I just really like to shuffle these cards. I kind of pick one, shuffle it, and kind of put these in little gifts as just like fun things. But they're basically like, do it for the love. You're not alone. I can't read this backwards. Ponder the beauty of possibility. So these are literally white cards. Be a fucking superstar. Hell yeah. So these are just plain words, right? Black on white. I like the idea of them. I like to put them there. You like pull them and put them on my desk, or give them to people, or put them in photos because they're just really cool. And I really like them. But I don't really, I consider it an oracle card, but it's almost like affirmations, right? This is the same thing. These have pink on the back instead of the gold, but it's the same thing. Your body is a miracle. Do whatever it takes to feel joy. So these are just kind of fun. And I haven't used them in a while. The only thing I will say is, like, I love the idea of the foil, but can you see how it kind of bled? I don't know if you can, but like it kind of bled through on the surround. But the front you can't tell. It's very thick. Very thick. You can't actually hold this whole deck in your hand and shuffle. You have to break it apart because it's huge. So those are kind of like weird decks that are like, are they a deck? Are they not a deck? What are they? What are they? I don't know. But I like them. Okay, now to the ones that I really do utilize quite often. So I went ahead and put in my Lenormand, if you will. I have this little one that I edged and did this like aging kind of goldish tone edging, but it had a bright white border around it. I couldn't handle it. I'm like, these are vintage cards with a bright white edge. I just couldn't handle it. But I love this Lenormand deck. This is my only one. It is my favorite. I use it quite often. See what I mean? Y'all, what is it? But I love how they have the references. In this one, it's not just bear. It's also the clubs, you know. This is literally, I think it was called Easy Lenormand. I think I have the book somewhere right here. Easy Lenormand is what the deck was called. So it's very vintagey little deck. That's my Lenormand deck. I love it so much that I've never gotten another one. However, the Dreaming Way Lenormand, kind of want it. The one from Andy at skullgarden.net, the one that did this deck, Earthbound Oracle, and the Wooden Tarot, he did a Lenormand that I wouldn't mind getting my hands on. But I'm so satisfied. Again, look at this. Look at this garbage. What do I do? I love my little Lenormand. This is an oracle that I have used for years, to the point it's like scuffed and got all kinds of, I don't even know if you can see. They kept up, they're really in good shape. Now they're black, so they do fade out as time goes along, but I don't mind, because there's something about this deck that I adore. This is a great clarifier deck. I have actually done full spreads with this deck. I like to use this deck when I'm doing my yearly spreads. I'll do tarot, oracle, and sometimes like mantra cards all together. I usually do quite a few for each month, and this is one that I always use. So I love this Earthbound Oracle deck. It is definitely one of my faves. And another one that I really like, and I thought that I wouldn't when I first got it in. I was like, oh, this is super thin. There's not a lot of cards. I don't know if I like it. But then I used it. See, really thin. I ended up really enjoying it. This is called the Earth Wisdom. I do like kind of like a Celtic vibe. I resonate with that and Druid quite a bit. And this isn't something that I thought would resonate as much as it does. Here I go. But it really is a great deck to clarify and read with. And each card has, like this one, you can see very clearly, each card has an herb or a flower and a crystal in every one. So we got crystals here, the amethyst. Here we have a row of, I think this is, nope, I'll be a liar. I thought it might have been citrine, but this is responsibility. Strength has tiger's eye in it and some fir trees. It's got, anyway, divine love literally has rose quartz and roses. So they have a lot of little hidden things in them that I really did enjoy. And they read really well. Like I said, clarifiers, they're really good. They bring up a lot of stuff. And the images are not bad at all. They are not bad at all. I find them quite beautiful. So as one that I was very like, am I going to like this? I ended up really loving it. So yeah, wisdom, earth wisdom. Then my beloved, which is about to come out very soon, the Halloween Oracle. I got this last year. I held off. I'm like, I'm never gonna use that. It's not blah, blah, blah. And it went on sale and I said, fine, I'll get it. I ended up loving this deck. I love it. I trimmed it down. It's got some, I mean, yeah, it's got some little Halloween-y whatevers. There's only, well, I'll show you. There's only 2 or 3 cards in here that I actually take out when I'm using it for my serious, like, Samhain reads. And that's things like these, like I call them the monster cards. Now, the witch, I don't really mind. You know, the earthly weaver of the, you know, that's kind of like step into your power. So many, but like zombie, I'm not a huge fan of, but most of it is like midnight, winter. What is that? Night song. I can't read backwards. Jack-o'-lantern, black cat, but like vampire. Again, those are the werewolf. I'm not a fan of, but they make sense. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, like, I find it a little too Halloween for me, but at the same time, like, I know what they mean. They just feel like a silly way to do it. But they're still fun, and I still use them anyway. But like sometimes when I want a more serious reading, and that's what I mean, because I tend to do a lot of serious reading for Samhain, shadow work and ancestor work, and kind of like, what do I need to bury, what do I need to plant kind of ideas. So like, I'll take these out when I want something more serious, but when I'm doing it just for fun and like having a fun little Halloween spread, then of course I keep it all in. But I really love like the scrying, skull stars, the veil. What else do we have? A cauldron, joy. Like, there are so many that are not kind of like a campy, like, you know, trick or treat, which are more like geared to Halloween and less to like, I don't know. You know what I mean. I know I'm so serious sometimes, but that's kind of what, I don't know. I ended up really liking it. Even though it's got playful cards in it, I do like the seriousness, and that's kind of what I wasn't expecting. I didn't know that it was going to feel so serious, so I can overlook the cards that are not so serious. They do have great keywords at the bottom of them, like the mummy is change, but like it's still serious and lighthearted. I get serious sometimes with my cards, so, but anyway, okay. So I'm going to show you these two kind of together like I did with a few of these. And that is my Moon deck. Again, I talked about these on 3 Fat Readers. And Queen of the Moon Oracle. I like to do an energy read at the end of, an energy card at the end of every reading that I do for myself and for, you know, my clients. These two have been my favorites because these I don't use to clarify. I really don't. I use as what energy do we need to work with, that kind of vibe, or like, you know, energy to work with, energy to strive for kind of ideas. And for whatever reason, moon cards just feel really right to me. And these two have been perfect because they do give that like finished feel that also gives you something to work on and something to strive for and something to pay attention to. So the Queen of the Moon Oracle has stuff like nourishment, change, beauty, protection. And each one, it's like waxing, give us 2. First quarter moon, last quarter moon, green corn moon, which you can also do with so many different things. It's like, oh, we'll make sure, you know, like pay attention to this moon or where we are in this cycle, to kind of, you know, the snow moon. Kind of pay attention to where that is in the month or in the year sometimes. But also just, I mean, this self-reflection. It's just such an interesting card. This too has a bit of like that fantastical vibe that I really love. Kind of like dark fairy tale type feels to it. And I really, really like it. So I use this one, or I use this moon deck, which someone asked me if this was still in print, and I really don't know, you guys. It's literally called the Moon Deck. And this is kind of like affirmations. There's medicine in my shadow. Lord. I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. So these are really great, kind of like wrap up a session kind of card. On top of that, again, the guidebook was surprising to me, and I'm glad that I opened it because I fell in love with it. So every time I do a reading, I don't really focus much on the meaning of the card, but each and every card has a ritual that goes along with it. And I love having a ritual for each card. There's something so almost rewarding in it, because it's like, okay, like the trust. I trust the change unfolding in my life. And the ritual is a clutter cleanse. And it's just like, sometimes it is just so fitting for what you need to do. Like, okay, that alone, like trust. I just redid my room. I had to unclutter. I had to bring stuff from other rooms, kind of rearrange, let stuff go. I'm doing this right now, kind of decluttering and getting rid of and evaluating. And it's so important to do that and like trust your intuition, trust your feeling, trust your gut. And it's like, it just goes with it so well. I really do love this deck for that. So this is a deck I don't think I will ever part with, ever. And that is just like this Queen of the Moon Oracle. It really doesn't have it much. I didn't really look much. Sorry, I'm yawning. Sorry. Maybe I need some more coffee. I did have 3 cups today, though. I don't know why I'm still yawning. Maybe I just need oxygen. Anyway, these are the 2 that I keep around and use for almost every reading that I do, for myself and for others. And then we have, I'm going to consolidate this one and do all 3. These are the Oracle of Oddities. And these, I just got the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And I'm so excited to use these together. I have not yet. I've been using the Antique Anatomy Tarot quite often, but I haven't been pairing it just yet. But they all have this really awesome vibe. There's all the botanicals and the anatomy. And I absolutely love the aesthetics. It's got that like kind of creepiness, but really great concepts. And I just really like the aesthetic of this deck, if I'm being honest. I like that sort of like, I like that creepiness to it, but like in a very specific way. It's just my style. So those 3, I haven't put them all together. A lot of people do, and I think that I will. I want to, I think I'm going to create myself a little bag for this one and create this all into one deck. I will be removing the third one, I will say, has, what did I do? Yes, I actually turned them around. Has the chakras, and I don't really care for them. They're beautiful, they're really cool looking, but I just really don't care for them in my readings. Again, that's a lot of, like, that's a big way that my readings have changed within themselves, is like, I used to do a lot of chakra work, and now I find myself kind of moving away from that. I don't really know why. It's just something that I'm not resonating with in particular. Like, sometimes I still will mention the chakras, because like sometimes I'll like, everything kind of feels like in the throat, so then I might say like, there's a lot of stuff that might need to be worked on in your throat chakra, so it could be something that you need to say, something that you need to admit to yourself. If you want to do some exploring with that, maybe try lapis or sodalite, or, you know, this type of crystal to help you kind of remove this block from this chakra, you know what I mean? But like, I do it in a very natural way versus like getting a card that's like, work on your throat chakra. It's just not something that I really am digging right now, and that could be a phase. So that's why I haven't chunked it. I just put them aside, because like, I don't like, it's just not resonating in that particular way as just a card on its own. Does that make sense? I don't know. At this point, I feel like I've talked way too much and I'm just babbling. So I've just never really done something this long. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, one that I have definitely resonated with more than I thought I would is the Wisdom of the Trees Oracle. I'm still yawning, y'all. This is actually one that just gives like eucalyptus, cottonwood, willow, yew, pine. It just gives that, but then if you read the book, it goes through, like, olive is obviously about, you can actually see it in this one, about creating that sacred space and having kind of special things. Let's see, ones that I can remember right off the bat. I'm still yawning, y'all. Anyway, so like this one, like, Hawthorne has a lot to do with magic. But they each have a separate suit. You can see around, this is for like fruits and stuff. This one is for something else. One is for like leaves, the wood, that's kind of used for different things. Let me not guess, let me tell you. Roots are the blue, the trunks have the wood, the leaves have the leaves, and the flower, fruit, and seed actually literally has flowers, fruits, and seeds around it. So they're broken up that way, and then each one in the book, I'm gonna yawn again, y'all. Oh my god. They each have a really great descriptions and stuff. So there is keywords. So like the cedar of Lebanon is spiritual strength. It gives the diva message. It gives kind of like a rundown of the tree. It has some key points, and then it gives a upright and reversed meaning, which I thought was really, really cool. And I used to know them all by heart, the keywords. So like eucalyptus would be balance, hazel would be boundaries, European beech is sustenance, apples, generosity, cherry, purity, pomegranate, the inner journey. They each have a keyword, and the more you use it, the easier it is to remember those. But I just really love putting these on my altar. Right now I have the oak on my altar because it's like my tree. It's like my favorite tree. So I really do enjoy working with this as altar cards more so than messages, if that makes sense. On to more flowers. I have the Indie Virgin version of the Hedge Witch Botanical Flashcards Oracle deck. This is something that was turned into a mass market deck. This is by, what's her name? Ciolo Thompson. I think that's how you say her first name. I'm so terrible about that. And it was Bay and Willow that put this out. I got this as an indie deck. Matter of fact, it came with the bag that I use for my fairies deck, which I'm going to show you guys in just a bit. But it came with this like hand stamped bag, and it's huge. But these are a bit different than, I'm just going to yawn the rest of the way through. These are a bit different than the mass market because there's just the plant on the front. But on the back, it tells you what you can use, like what's used. So the leaves and the roots, you can see the roots at the bottom. Whereas this one is the flower and the leaves. Let's see if we have some more. There was something else. Berries for the Scots pine. Just the flower and the roots for the daylily. Huckleberry has just the berries, elderberries, and then of course you have the skull for ones that are dangerous. But it has a big blurb about what they look like, what they are, how they're used, and then other names for them, and then an oracle property at the very bottom. So the oracle property for blackberry is protection. So I really love this. Again, I use these a lot as altar cards. Like, what plant medicine do I work with? I usually like to pull this, and sometimes I put something in my grimoire about it, or I do a piece of artwork about it, or I just put it on my altar and I try to find the plant or utilize it in some type of way, or just study it. So I really like these as kind of flashcards, more so than oracle. You know what I mean? I really don't use it as an oracle deck per se. So again, we'll continue along those same lines. And again, from the book, this is from a book. What happened? There we go. I have my little herbiary deck, which of course are super thin. You have to pop them out. But I do love using this so much because I love the art and it's so vibrant. The book is huge and it's beautiful and it's got really great journaling prompts. And again, it's something really fun that like I'll pull out and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll do some stuff with yarrow today, and I'll do a spell work with it for something that I need. So this one's pockets of protection. So I might take some of my yarrow, which is like up on my shelf, and take it down and make something with it. You know what I mean? So I really like those. I love some good plant ones. So my last few, we'll go with this beauty, the Connected and Free. I love reading with this. This is one that I will use for full spreads because I feel like it really does encompass so much. And this is by Inner Hue. Great cardstock, vibrant colors, fear. I love this card. It's just a pair of shoes, but like our fear is just kind of waiting in there. Again, this one has the chakras. Mostly they're all together because I usually take them out. They even have like a chakra love. They have animals. I love the Mentor. Just really beautiful artwork, and has light and dark. It's a well-rounded deck, and I love to read for myself and for others, and I'll use these as I really love the mind, body, and soul spread to do with this as just like a full checkup of how things are going, how you are, what's in your environment. I really love this deck for a mind, body, and soul spread. So yes, we're almost done, y'all. Okay, So then we have the soul cards. I only have soul cards 1. I know there's a new one coming out, and then there's soul cards 2. And so many people put them together. I really like the soul deck. It's something that I don't use super often, but when I do, I kind of like taking these cards and kind of exploring where I am. And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes I'll shuffle and draw, but for the most part, I flip through these. So I will flip through, and there are a few that will, like this one that came up just now, really jump out at me, right? So let me see. What kind of do? Oh, this really jumps out at me. And this one. This one. And let's get one more that kind of wants to come out at me. This. Okay. So then I will take, I'll go through the whole deck, and like all the ones that really speak to me, I pull to the side. And then I come back again and I look at these and I say, which one just has a big impact? And like through these, this is the main one that stands out. So I'll do that, or I'll like lay them out and I'll use my pendulum, and I'll kind of allow my pendulum to get to the one that has the main message, the main feeling, the main energy that I need to go with. And so like this one just really stands out. I really feel it, and I think it's like the child and this, and it's got the leaves over it, and it makes it feel like, they're only little for a little bit. It's only a season, right? It's only a season where it's little hands and lots of questions and things like that. And so it's kind of like exploring my little girl growing up, right? And knowing that some days are easier than others, some days are more magical than others, but it's only for a season. So it's all about really enjoying it. And I find, like, again, shit like this, like, if I really sat with this, I'd be crying right now. Sob tears, my baby's growing up kind of vibes. But I feel like that's the kind of stuff that these soul cards bring up. So it's like, when you really want to do some soul work, if you really want to dive in and kind of get that really subconscious gut reaction, what is this energy? These are some of the best cards to do it with. Like, I'll even give these to Jacob, which is my husband, for those of y'all who don't know. So I'll like hand these to Jacob, and I'm just like, here, what speaks to you? And do readings like that with him, and like allow him to pick it out, and I'll ask him to explore it, and I'll tell him what I see and what I'm feeling from these for him, and things like that. So like, I find that these are very much personal and intense cards. So I have these, my soul cards. If you're still watching, I'm gonna give you 1,000 points, because I just feel like I've been talking forever. I never talk this long. Okay. Last three. Like, I don't have that many. I just don't have many that I utilize a lot of. This next one is so fun. Oracle of Mystical Moments. I just think this is beautiful. And this artist is doing a tarot deck. I'm so excited about it, because it is a collage, but everything goes together. It all matches in the most beautiful, vintage, amazing way. Same tones and editing. There's nothing that's like a stark, like, oh, what is that? Everything is just magical. Now, I will say with this one, there are a couple of cards, very few, that are like, okay, let me see. I think I had one that just popped up. I think it was like Lorelei. See, like even Miss Sunshine, like I feel like you can pull all like from everything. You know what I mean? Butterfly Garden. Man, I feel like maybe only that one. I mean, like there's a Sea Witch. She's super cute. I usually feel a lot of inner child vibes for that. Which is probably gonna be at the end. Oh, here's one. So we have Eva. So you don't know really much about her. I feel like she's got some Eve vibes. There's a snake around her neck. It's very like botanical, but she looks otherworldly. So like there's a couple, it's very few, maybe 2 or 3, that it's like, let me pull out this little, and it's cute. This little guidebook is really cute. It's kind of like stapled together. It's not too big. That you just like, let me just check. So we pull up Eva, and it says like duplicity, deception, caution. And it's like once you see that once, you're like, oh, I get it. That caution. There's snakes around her neck. She's got these tentacles that could probably sting you. She's got that flaming red. She's got like that red hair, but it's like a rose on the top, kind of like lures you in and then stings you kind of idea. So it does have a few like that, but 2 or 3, I'm not really mad at it. And once you get it, like once you have that in your head, it's like it's really easy. Like the next time you're gonna see Eva, you're gonna be like, I know what Eva is. Watch yourself. But even if you didn't, you could probably sit with her and again see those snakes and see those tentacles and realize that there's like a beauty that draws you in, but she's a little bit dangerous. So I really like it. I love the aesthetics of this deck, and I love the collage vibes. So here is my fairy deck that I talk a lot about. Now these I went ahead and wrote on the bottoms. I've worked with this deck for years. It's the first ever Oracle that I ever got. It feels like the Labyrinth, which I love. But it feels so genuine. It feels like the Fae. There's not these like computer, not that I mean, you can, whatever, you like whatever kind of art that you like. I even like that computer type art, sometimes that digital artwork, digital collages and stuff, but there's something so earthy and so raw and real about Brian Froud's art and his portrayal of the fairies, that it's like you can really connect with Fae energy. Like this reminds me a lot of and I never finished watching it. I read the book. It's called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And it's got these vibes where like they talk about magic coming back to England. It's like a kind of like a period piece kind of book. It's this real big book, but it talks about how in the olden days when there was magic that was kind of everywhere, that these quote-unquote magicians would use the fairies to do their bidding. And these fairies kind of walked in the shadows and they kind of merged worlds. Like dreaming world was not really a dream. You were kind of taken from this reality and put into the fairy world, and you kind of never slept, and it was like this really strange vibe. But like with images like this one, it's like I can feel that type of Fae energy where it's like almost that, I don't want to say mischievous because it's deeper than that. Now this is not one of, you know, mischievous whatever, or even what is the word I'm looking for? I can't brain today. almost like you don't want to catch yourself there. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to find yourself there. You don't want to wander into this place. You don't want them to catch you there is what I was trying to say. Where it's just like you wandered into a place where you're just not supposed to be. It feels uncomfortable. It feels very magical, but the kind of magic that you can't quite touch and you wouldn't know what to do with, and that could really do you harm because of your ignorance of it. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going way too deep for this. But that's the kind of vibe that I get from some of these, whereas like other ones are just, they're very welcoming. All these bringers of the light, these like light beings, are very much comforting and soothing, but then this very real sense of fae where it's like not everything is, you know, gumdrops and rainbows and cotton candy, where it's like a real earthy, you know, otherworldly spirit of the fae that you can really tap into. And a lot of people have trouble with this deck, and a lot of people say that it's really hard, or they get readings that won't make sense or things of that nature. And I will say that while a lot of people really hate when people personify their decks, this deck has a personality whether you want to believe it or not. I feel like it has the energy of the fae, and I feel like it's steeped in it to the point where it doesn't matter if you've connected with this. There are certain days you can pull it out and it will not read for you because it is not the right time. It is not the right energy to be in. So I will say that of anything, I don't really personify any of these other decks, but this one, I will say till the end of my days, it has a personality, and when it doesn't want you to use it, it won't give you a good reading. When it feels like you're avoiding something, it will bring that thing up. If you are in public and you don't want something to come up, but you want a reading out of this, it will bring up the thing that you're trying to avoid. Like, I feel like it is steeped in that fae energy, and it's uncomfortable sometimes, but there's something about it that is so deeply connected with me that I can't resist it and I can't be without it. I mean, you can see how much I've loved this deck. So that is my fairy deck. And my last one is the beautiful Supra. This is by UC Sign Studios, and this has a very, there we go. Oh no, I had it right. I was all right. Almost alchemical vibe to it. Like, I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. And I love this art, this etchings. Obviously, the deck that I'm creating has so many vibes. I can't wait to get them side by side to use these together. The deck I'm creating along with this one, because I use images from the 1500s that are etchings, wood carvings, and things of that nature, and they're very much heavily lined and have the same feel to a lot of the images, the Nothing card. And so I just, I love it. I absolutely love it. It feels like magic. It feels like mystery. And there are some in this one that I'm like, I need to know what they were thinking, you know? And I do have the book. I did buy the book with it because I felt like it really did need it sometimes. There's like a Ex Machina one that I'm like, I want to read about this. I'm not gonna find it. Anyway, I just thought it was very interesting. It's something that I do use. Impasse. I love this. It's got this like bramble vibe to it. And then it does have, they have all 4 pieces to this huge labyrinth within it, which I thought was really cool. So I do use this one. I like clarifying with this deck. I feel like it's a really good clarifier because it has like, you know, stillness, imperfection. It really brings that, it's got that clarifier vibe, right? Like, not so much as like, I'm gonna give you a full spread and I'm gonna be able to do it. Like, yes, of course you can do that with anything. But I feel like as a companion to be like, well, I don't know where this is going. Like, this is in your psyche. That's what's happening. You can't get out of it. This is not reality. This is something that's within you that needs to be dealt with versus something that's actually happening to you. Because sometimes, especially with energy readings, you know, people may feel like this is their reality. This is what's happening, but it's not. It's their anxiety. And so, you know, sometimes these clarifiers are there to be like, do not mix it up. This is to clarify that, yes, indeed, this is not your reality. This is something in your head. Just as like an example, right? Anyway, that's it, you guys. I made it. Hopefully I can cut it down to at least an hour. And like I said, if you made it all the way with me, kudos. You get 10,000 points. I'm gonna give you 10,000 just for you. That's what you have now. So this was fun. I just feel like I talked so much and that there's so much that I did not say. I hope you liked this. It was fun to go through everything and realize that there are a few that I need to really sit and look at. You know what I mean? I have these and these that I just don't know if they are going to stay or if they will need a new home. Bless you, Charlie. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm pretty happy with my collection. These, I'm like, I don't really need them, so maybe I need to find new homes for them. My love, if you're looking for me, all my links are below. You can check me out there. Etsy, Instagram, 3 Fat Readers, all the things are below. Pretty soon there's going to be a update on my deck. I am working on my cups as we speak. And yeah, so that's going to be exciting. That's going to be an update this month, and my August wrap-up will be up very soon too. So I will talk to you guys shortly, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend and a great week. Bye! Later, Gators.